Just one reason why the debate over how we measure poverty is an important one. It impacts policy, it influences politics, and more critically, it can determine survival for millions, especially in a country where poverty is so deep-rooted, chronic, and seems almost unshakable. Here's data over 3 decades that tracks why and how this is the case. A training program in Rajasthan gives women employment and allows them to escape from poverty. Bad health brought this old couple's income crashing down, bringing them out on the road to beg. It takes just common sense to see why some people remain poor while others climb out. Now there is an academic study which maps this even more closely. Professor Aasha Kapur along with Professor Shashanka Bhide have analysed data collected by the National Council of Applied Economic Research over 3 decades. First in the 70s, then in the 80s and finally in the late 90s, researchers went back to the same 3,000-odd families in 260 villages across the country to find out how they had fared. What they found was deeply disturbing. Between 1997 and 1981, 52% of the poor had remained poor. While the number came down in the next 2 decades at 38.6%, it was still alarmingly high, confirming that in India, poverty is chronic, persistent, often unshakable.
That when we talk about poverty having declined, even though it has declined in the aggregate at the national level, the lived realities of people's lives are that they have lived and are living in poverty. So then the issue becomes, how do you track people's lives and understand poverty in that context? We tried to develop a framework which is called drivers, maintainers, interrupters kind of framework. Basically shocks of various kinds that can cause entry into poverty. Now these could be health shocks, for example, somebody in the family falls ill, and as you have increasing rollback of the state within the healthcare system, this is going to become an increasing issue. The major factor that comes through as responsible for chronicity of poverty or long duration poverty is the kind of work that a person does. Okay? The probability of being poor is highest for all those who are getting work that is casual and is in agriculture. Those villages that are closer to urban areas are more likely to have families being able to escape from poverty because you can get work in the proximate urban towns and cities. But then the major interrupters come from mobilization of some kind. So as was done by the NKSS in the context of demanding that there be transparency and the right to information, and then eventually leading up to the NREGA, or as was done in Ralegan by Anna Hazare.
Another important finding, while more people among the scheduled castes had been able to escape poverty, fewer among scheduled tribes had. No wonder consistently remote tribal areas show up as India's hunger spots. With Supriya Sharma, Radhika Bodia for NDTV.